Hello, I am Radagast, and this is Mystic View, Global Mission of Peace TV, and I am here with my co-host, Shelley. Hello, Shelley.
Hello, everyone.
And a special guest, someone that some of you might not have heard of. I was fortunately able to find out who he was through Shelley, and his name is Sequoyah. Hello, and welcome, Sequoyah.
Thank you very much, Brad. Appreciate that.
So he has a very rich life, and a rich life driven by spirit. And so we're going to speak to him and get a chance to have a look at a spirit driven life. Shelley, I'd like to kind of let you go with Sequoyah here.
Yeah, thank you. Sequoyah is my dear friend, Sequoyah Trueblood. And I'm just so happy and honored to be able to introduce some of you to him, and many of you will know him. He travels the world. He's called upon by world leaders, political leaders, spiritual leaders, and he just answers the call to every person on the planet. You can all call upon Sequoyah for so many reasons, just to talk to him, or if you have any concerns. He's really so connected with spirit through his heart that he can bring peace to any situation, and he has been called upon to bring peace into many situations. For instance, there's been some tragedies where many children have signed suicide pacts or brought in by world leaders all over the world when there's kind of world calamities happening. But one of the really interesting stories that Sequoyah has lived is that he found himself called to the Colombian mountains. He's called to the Kogi, the Arhuaco, the Asadio, and the Cucuamos people. And he has such an interesting connection. Sequoyah, would you like to introduce that part of your story, of your life?
Well, I'll get it in there.
All right.
Okay. You want me to go ahead?
You go right ahead. Let us know about the pipe you're holding.
Okay, I will in just a moment. First, I would like to say to these people that you can learn a couple of new words for your vocabulary, and I'll introduce myself by saying Halito, and I'm from the Oklahoma Choctaw Nation. Halito is greetings in the language of the Choctaw people. So I'm very thankful that I've been asked to do this and have this meeting with all of my relatives around this beautiful Mother Earth. So I just want to say that a little bit before I go on about my background, because there was never anyone who would talk to me about my birth, never. And when I would ask about my birth, that would just be disregarded. And later on, I found that a grandfather had left a silver dollar for me and a little note that said, Sequoyah came here on angel's wings. And my mother would never talk about my birth. My grandparents would never talk about my birth. I have another grandfather who is Choctaw, and what was said about him was that one day he walked off into the sunset of the West and was never seen again. So I can't tell you too much about those particular relatives. Just know it was a little bit different. And my entire life's been a little bit different, very much so. After being born somewhere in Oklahoma, and I know my father came from a little town called Choctaw, Oklahoma, and I'd be willing to say there's hardly anyone out there in this audience that's ever heard of that place. I'm a member of the Oklahoma Choctaw Nation, and you might see that I'm holding what we call a sacred chanupa, a pipe that we use in all of our ceremonies. This particular pipe here has buffalo hide on it, and would let you know that I sun dance with the Lakota people, and I've been sun dancing for several years with the Lakota. I started out with sun dancing with the American Indian movement long ago, so several years with them, and then moving into Lakota land, where I was with my good brother, Harry Charger, who was quite a situation and deal himself, I'll tell you. It's what a great teacher he has been in my life. And he still was aware of ceremonies that dated back over 3,000 years. And like I've got this pipe right here, and I might say, you know, I'm going to load this pipe, and Harry would always say, Sequoyah, when are you going to get this straight? You load a gun, you fill the pipe. Mm-hmm. So you might hear me saying still, you know, I'm going to fill this pipe now. And then Harry's in the spirit world. He left us here. So part of what I'm doing right here is an honoring of him, because we did many wonderful things together to help the people of this earth and those who are departed. And in the beginning, you talked about how I had done work for you know, different governments and so on. So here, once upon a time, and it's been 20 some years now, I guess, since Al Gore was vice president, that Harry and I were invited to the White House. And they asked us to help with their plan for sustainability. And so we're there talking to Al Gore, and all of a sudden he just says very quietly, would it be possible for you to come down to my office and we could smoke the pipe together? So we did that. We smoked the pipe with Al Gore, and we did some work on the plan for sustainability from a native viewpoint, but not much of that was included in the final product. Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit, just for some of the listeners who might not understand the association of prayer and the pipe, and how the tobacco and the plants lift those prayers, and they're part of the prayers?
Yeah, this pipe, we refer to it by the name of the sacred chanupa, the holy pipe, holy sacred pipe. And when you're given a pipe, you know, and you come to that place where judgments are not allowed. Not only not allowed, you just don't hear judgments if you're a pipe carrier. And if I find myself in a situation where I don't know exactly what to do, like every day, I will load this pipe, and I will give thanks to the Spirit looking over this pipe for the guidance that I need. And the information that comes from that goes all the way into that invisible spirit world. And when we light that pipe and ask for help, that smoke goes up and you know, looks like it disappears, but the essence of that pipe goes right into where the grandmothers and grandfathers are sitting, all of our ancestors that have ever existed. And so we have access to a tremendous amount of assistance in what we do through this pipe. And this pipe has changed my life. And anybody who has been given a pipe to smoke for the people, and that's who we do it for, the ancestors and all who are existing now, understand that. So you know, you become humble around these kind of things too. And you know, I haven't been the most humble person in the world because of all the amazing things I've been sent out to do and the things I've been involved in along the way. And so it was a great gift for me to have this pipe come along and be able to sit down with that pipe when somebody asked me something that's for some help. And I can say right away up front, I don't know nothing. I found out, though, that those ones in the spirit world have got all the information, so I don't need to know anything. I just go to them, and they give me the information that I need to do whatever's necessary. So that's just a little bit about the pipe here.
Well, and that's so true. I'll just tell people a little story about you too, what I know, and can validate exactly what you're saying. What I know about Sequoyah is he is completely unconcerned with material possessions or the need for security in any way. If it's raining and somebody gives him a rain jacket, that's great. But as soon as it's raining next time, he's going to pass it on and give it to the next person. So this is truly the life that Sequoyah leads. And he's called upon really the path of forgiveness. And just like perhaps some of your brothers have been called upon to dissipate that path of blame, to dissipate, you have been called upon often the path of forgiveness, just to dissipate those types of energies.
Yes.
For the planet, as a service to the planet, as a service to the people,
Right.
what you carry and what you lived through to be able to authentically do that.
You know, one of the services I send to the people too is the fact that I don't have a car, I don't have a computer, I don't have cell phones, I don't have any of those gadgets, and I'm really healthy. You know, I haven't been to a doctor in 40 years. Maybe, you know, all you folks that think you need to carry all these things around with you might be able to look at it in a different way, because all of the information that we get through that computer is already existing out there in consciousness, every bit of it. And so we don't have to carry a bunch of stuff around with us, you know, it just flows through the cellular intelligence of our body, all that information. We are a computer, and we're grander than any computer that's ever been built.
Mm-hmm.
That's absolutely true.
Mm-hmm. And I'd like to maybe go ahead and say something about the people on that mountain in Colombia. And just, I mean, I've been there over the past 28 years, and I've so much information has been shared with me in those years. I'd never be able to share all of it. One thing I'd like to just tell you up front right now is that I can assure you that at this moment, there's 4 elders sitting on the 4 chambers of our heart. And they're praying for all of us 24 hours a day, nonstop. It's constant where they're doing this. And this is where, you know, there's a representative of each one of the 4 nations there. The Kogi, the Arhuacos, the Conquamos, and the Arsardio. So for all of you out there listening, you know, and you're going Kogi, 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 they just get a little tired too of that, in that we're not recognizing the other 3 nations up there. And they're fairly good-sized nations. They're somewhere, you know, I know a couple of them are around 20,000. And another thing too, this is definitely a matrilineal society up there. But if you went up on the mountain and walked around up there, you'd see the men doing everything. Well, if you peeked around some corners, you would see those women watching the men constantly 24 hours a day to make sure they don't misstep. That's all going on too at all times. And you'll see the men carrying in their hand a gourd, and they'll be turning that gourd constantly. Now, they received that gourd by a woman when they went through their rite of passage ceremony. And uh, they they're tasked then to carry that gourd, which is a representative of Mother Earth, and they carry it with them constantly. Whenever they get in their hammock, and they all sleep in hammocks up there, when they get in their hammock to go to bed at night, they've got a special little pouch they wear with that gourd inside of it hanging right around their neck. And so for their entire life, these men are carrying in their left hand this gourd and turning it, and that's associated directly with us taking care of Mother Earth and caressing her and being gentle with her and kind with her and loving with her. Is I just like to say, Mother, we haven't been too kind to you lately, and we need to take a look at our relationship with you and put our relationship with you right up front in every single thing that we do, so we're able to continue to live here on this Mother Earth. Because, Mother Earth's 6 billion years old, and there's been this is the fourth great society on the Earth. What happened to the other three? Well, they got a little bit carried away with thinking they own things and were running the show. And those other three gigantic civilizations that existed got wiped off the face of the Earth. And right now we're in what's called the fourth world. And we're told that we're going to get some added assistance here. And if you go outside, just open your door and look outside, you'll see that everything isn't so pleasant looking out there. We've got trash piles everywhere. So we're in a situation here right now where we've got to bring ourselves back into alignment with Mother Earth, put her first in our needs rather than putting our needs there and forgetting about Mother Earth the way we've done. It's important that we're able to do this so we can continue existing here on this great Mother Earth and this beautiful home that we've been given.
That's for sure. And great thanks is one of the steps.
Right. Yeah. So I just want to say a little bit of, you were getting ready to say something. What was that?
Well, no, that's all right. You can carry on. I'll bring these topics back in.
Because everything is different about me, and everything's different, in regard to that mountain in Colombia. And I'd just like to say how, how it happened that I ended up there. It's just pretty interesting. I had spent a lot of time with the Mayan people down in Guatemala, and I'd lived off and on with them for some time. And there was a Mayan priestess there that I'd become very good friends with. And so after maybe my third or fourth trip down there, I get a call from her, and I'm living over in Ganawage now with the Gunyungahaga, the Mohawk people. They'd rather be called Gunyungahaga. That's their real name. That means the people who live by the river, right on the St. Lawrence there. So anyway, there I am in Ganawage, and the phone rings, and it's this Mayan priestess. And she goes, strangest thing, she says, I just got a telephone call from a mountain in Colombia. And the person on the other end, I don't really realize who it was, but I was told that I was to contact you and you were to come to the mountain. And so she gives me that, and I said, well, where? What mountain? What is this? How do we get there? And she says, that's all the information I have. And I said, well, I don't speak Spanish all that well, so would you go there with me? And she'd say, our people have heard about that mountain all of our lives, and and it would be wonderful. She says, I'll accompany you there and I'll be your translator. So she flew up to Boston, where there's a direct flight that goes right into Barranquilla. And do you know where Barranquilla is?
I don't.
Sure don't. Nope, never heard of
Anybody
it.
else there? Because
Nope.
I'd never heard of a place called Barranquilla. I found out real quick though. It's a city of 8 million people. So, and it seems like we would know about that, but anyway, we didn't. So I went and met with this woman in Boston. We got a direct flight. We have no idea where we're going. None. We're just going on the information, scant as it was, that we received. And we fly into Barranquilla, and we get off the plane, and we're going, well, it's hot here. That's for sure. And some guy looked like a native man with a short sleeve shirt on walks up to us, says, come on this way, and takes us around to the other side of the airport. Our luggage is sitting over there waiting to be put on this other little plane. And we get on this plane, and we fly across the mountains of Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta, and particularly the mountain known as the Heart of the World, where these people, journey forth from. So we fly into a little town called Valledupar at the bottom of the mountain. And we still have no idea what's going on. Nothing. We're just going, on how we feel. And so we get off the plane in Valledupar, and there's a taxi sitting there waiting for us. So we get in the taxi. We take the taxi to a hotel, and we get dropped off at the hotel. We go in. They give us rooms. They said, we've been expecting you here. And so a couple of things I brought with me. I brought the pipe with me. And then two, I also brought this sage bowl with me. And then also I brought with me an eagle wing fan. You can't see that. It's hanging up over behind me here. And so here we are once again going like, well, what's happening? And two of the people from the hotel come up to our rooms and say, what are you doing? Come on, they're waiting for you downstairs. And we're going like, who's waiting for us downstairs? And so we go down, they open these big double doors, and there's movie cameras everywhere, lights everywhere. And the most profound thing, though, was it was about 35 men, women, and children from the 4 different nations up on this mountain. And they're running around barefoot. The kids have got dirt all over them, so do some of the men. And I'm just looking astounded at all of this. And the head table, there was a couple of people sitting at the head table, and someone comes and moves them out of the way and takes me and the Mayan priestess up to the front of the room. And I'm getting a little antsy here. I have no idea what I'm to do or what's going on. And so they'd moved the other people out of the way. I turned around and faced the people. And one of the men who I became real good brothers with later on, he goes, Sequoyah, speak. And my eyes just got big. Speak? I have no idea what to speak about. I don't know what's going on here. And all of a sudden, words started rolling out of my mouth that I'd never heard before. And it was all about my association with those people on the mountain. And about the fact that they had come down off that mountain. For 25 years up in the high reaches of that mountain, none of the Spanish people below even knew that they were there. And so all of a sudden I'm speaking, and I'm talking about them as I'd always known them, and I was part of them, and that we had come down to reveal ourselves to the world. That it was time for them to come to see the work that we were doing, and constantly in prayer for the healthfulness of Mother Earth. And it's good for you folks to know that out there, that there's somebody doing something like this, because as far as I'm concerned, if they weren't doing this, we wouldn't be able to be here right now. We wouldn't be. And so I'm talking along and sharing information about them, and I can't tell you right now exactly what I said. I have no idea. It was somebody else speaking through me. But like an hour and a half later, we finally stopped, and I had that eagle wing fan with me, and I had this sage bowl with me that we just burnt some here. And so when we finished, then, I mean, I was worn out, and the other woman was worn out, and we go to bed, and it was about 4 o'clock in the morning. Somebody's knocking on my door, and they had the copy of the newspaper about everything that had happened yesterday. And the interesting part about it is that in the picture on the front page of the paper, I'm holding the eagle wing fan up. A light is going out of the eagle wing fan, bouncing off a wall in another room, and then coming right back to the pipe again. So I've still got a copy of that newspaper. But so anyway, we get through with all that. Still, I have no idea what's happening. They put me in a 4-wheel drive vehicle that looks like it, couldn't make it to 50 feet down the road. And there's people hanging off the sides of it. They got my luggage and the priestess, all her luggage on there. And we take a 7-hour drive up the side of a mountain where there's not even a road. Mm-hmm. And we get up there, and they stop in front of a gigantic gate, big gate. And they opened the doors of the gate, and I could see inside that there were white paths going through all the way back to the other end of that compound there, where there was another gate. And all of a sudden, it was just told to me, what you're seeing in these lines going through are the representation of the DNA. And so the DNA and many things about their life that keep them going is embedded in every single thing they do. On the walls inside of their concurwas, the concurwas are temples, and they're also their houses. They have the paths of the planets inside of these places, and then so they could stay reminded and on track about who they are. And so before I headed down that way, a friend of mine made up a bundle for me that had a sage in it, and it was a real nice tan deer hide. So we get up there on the mountain now, and this one fellow comes over to me, and he happened to be from the Amazon, from the Colombian Amazon. And he comes right up to me and he goes, where's that medicine you brought me? Like the sage. I'm going, well, he knows about that already. And I said, it's in the building over there. And he says, well, go get it. He's speaking in Spanish now, and the translation's going on. So I go get it, and we come back out, and I put the sage down, and he squats down, so I squat down, and then he's got a little device around his neck that's a container, and got some kind of liquid in it. And I'd seen him use it a couple of times, and I didn't know what it was. But so anyway, what he does, I give him the sage in the bundle, and he takes this device off his neck and puts it on my neck. And I'd seen him with it's got a little stick in it, and puts it down in there, and there's some gooey stuff there that on it, and he would stick it in his mouth, and before he would talk, he would do that each time because it would alter consciousness. I wasn't aware of that right away. And so when he gives it to me and I'd seen what he did, I took some, a pretty good piece of it. And, and the next thing I know, it's a good thing I'm sitting down because I couldn't stand up. And the translator that he had with him goes, he said, don't do too much. And it was too late. So for 3 days, I was in another place. And I still have no idea exactly what that was. But I've still got that, by the way. And it hadn't been used by me anyway all that time. So the next thing that happens is that I find out there's 8 of us who have been called to this mountain, and that our task is going to be to take their teachings and place those teachings on paper and take them to the president of Colombia, their teachings. So the president of Colombia and his staff can see what it is that we're doing, and they need to be protected and taken care of to keep the spaceship Earth afloat once again. See, so the way that they decide how they're going to break things down, they have all of us go out on the other side of this compound where there's another big gate back there. We go back there, and there's about 100 of these people in their white clothes and clean clothes, which I hadn't seen on anybody yet. But and then they're all lined up back there, and in front of them there's an old man who eventually became a real good brother to me, and also along with a lot of other folks down there. and so the old man is standing there. He's got an interpreter who can speak their languages and Spanish, and the old man says something to the young guy, and he says, now the old man is going to register you. And I'm going like, what's that mean? And then I get the answer back in interpretation saying, the old man's going to look inside of you and every cell of your being, and he's going to be able to see every single thing you've ever done in your life. And the results of this seeing is going to determine whether you'll be able to stay here or not. And I'm going in my mind, well, I guess I'm going to be on an airplane out of here tomorrow. Because there's still things I'm not willing to talk about. So anyway, we do that, and he says something after. It took about an hour to do this registration, they called it, because he would do each one of them individually, and then he leans over to when he finished that, he leans over to the young man there, and I got to participate in that young guy's wedding ceremony later on in life too. That was beautiful. But so next thing I'm seeing 2 people go over and take one of the people that was there to help put this thing together. They took him right out of there. And I'm sitting there going, well, are they getting ready to come and see me now? And so anyway, they'd finished up, and I'm still there. And the young man comes and gets me and takes me to the old man, who is like a universal geographer, this guy. He knows every mountain in the world and everything that's happening in every mountain, this guy. And so he says through the interpreter, well, he says to everybody, we don't leave this compound, any of you here to do this work, unless you let us know specifically where you're going to go. You can go down to the river and take a bath, which was about a 5-minute walk away. But you got then come back and stay here. And then he calls me over through this young man, and this young man, and the young man's translation said, "In Sequoyah, for you, you can go anywhere you want to on this mountain." And I'm going, "What the heck? What is going on here?" And a little later, another significant part of this is that one of the Arhuaco took me by the hand, and the translation said, "Mamo Gabriel wants to see you." Now, I've got a picture of him over here. If I held it up, you could probably see that picture. Huh? I mean, so, but anyway, they take me on a trek. There's one Arhuaco there taking me up, and we get up to the top of the mountain, and there's a little grass hut up there that's only about 4 feet high, just so one of them could fit right in there. And I had to lean down. And as I lean down, I hear this voice, and it's all translated in, from Spanish or into Spanish, then into English. And it was like, "Hello, Sequoyah. Where have you been? We've been waiting for you. You've been sent to us by the highest authorities in creation." And I can tell you of the reaction to a lot of my relatives here on this earth when I tell that story. They're not too excited about it because most of them don't believe anything like that could have ever happened. But that's what happened to me. I was sent there by the highest authorities in creation, and I still don't know what that's all about. Later on, as I got involved with other mamos, one of the most significant things that happened along the way, I'm skirting around a whole bunch of stuff here, but it was about 8 years ago now that one of the mamos, Mama Monever, who became a real good brother to me, was calling my name as I was walking around the streets up here in Canada. "Sequoyah, come on down here, Sequoyah." And I'm going like, I must be making this up. I mean, I really want to go. And I got a hold of James O.D. That's when he was president of the Institute of Noetic Science. I called him up and I said, "James," I said, "I'm being called to that mountain in Colombia, and there's something really significant going to happen. I don't know what it is, but I need you to be there because I need someone like you who's very credible, because this is going to be something unbelievable." I was aware of that, but I had no idea what it was. So, and now I'm skipping a few years right now in doing this, but so excuse me. We get on the plane, we fly down there, we get up on the mountain, and then from there we have to walk up for about an hour to get up to a place where we can see down into the valley there where Mama Monever's household was located. So we get up there, and down below we can see there's like 200 of these people, Kogi, Arhuacos, Conquamos, Arsardio. There were some of all of them there. And I'm going like, what the heck? What's going on down there? Never seen anything, especially I've never seen these people with clean clothes on, what we would call clean clothes. And so anyway, James and I walked down, and there was a couple of young guys there, like guardians. "What are you doing here?" And so I can speak a little bit of, the Arhuaco language. So I just said something like, "Azi mizari, azi neki, azi neki ma," the greetings and exchange there. "And I'm here to see my brother, Mama Monever." And they all looked at each other. First of all, they were pretty amazed I was speaking a language that's thousands of years old that hardly anybody knows about except them. And they're looking at each other, and they point out into the arbor, and Mama Moneva's wrapped up in what looks like funeral clothes. And I just looked at James and I said, "Looks like we got here too late, brother. Let's walk up the mountain." And sit up there and see what comes to us, because I have no idea what to do now. So we're sitting there eating the mango. There's plentiful mangoes down there. And all of a sudden, a woman who translates for me, who can speak all four of the languages of those people and can speak Spanish. And so she comes up and she says, "Come on, Sequoyah. Mama Maneva has told the people that when you get here, he will be healed." And that was another jaw-dropping time for me, that I have no idea what this is all about and how in the world could I be healed from someone who looked like they're dead already. She says, "Come on." So we get taken down to the family house. And the family standing there with all outside, and they've heard what Mama Maneva has said. When Sequoyah gets here, he will be healed. And so I'm just about on the verge of freaking out now. I have no idea at all what's going to come next or what's going on. So anyway, James was there with me, and we walk inside of the house, and they've got Mama Maneva laying right in the fireplace. That's the place of regeneration, that fireplace. Mm-hmm. So they've laid him right in there, ashes and all. And he still had his, beautiful dirt clothes on. Mm-hmm. And so what I do then, I'm just, flabbergasted. And I reach up in the air and I point up and I go, "Okay, you guys, you got me into this. Now do something." So then I go over and I kneel down next to him. And now I've got the whole family behind me back here. And I'm looking at him and I check out, all of the vital signs. None of them are registering. He's like dead as a doornail. There's no breath. But the thing is, his body was warm. Mm-hmm. To me, it's akin to the yogis, and what they can do where they go down below that threshold, where you can't be measured. So mm-hmm. Something along that line. That's all I can equate it to at all. And so I was there for a while, just sitting there saying prayers. I did a song that he had given me. Aluna o dunia yo hey yo hey. Aluna o dunia yo hey yo hey yo hey yo hey yo hey. And that can go on infinitely, because you're giving thanks for everything in existence. So I did that. And they told me I was there like 6 hours. It just seemed like a few minutes. I got up, went to the other side of Mama Maneva's body. And I kneeled down there, same thing, no vital signs, nothing going on. And I sat there and I sat there and I sat there. And they told me it was another 6 hours. And so all of a sudden, I just went down and put my lips right next to his left ear there. And I said, "Mama Maneva, I know you're in there. Now come out." And just a few moments later, he opens his eyes. and James O.D. said he about jumped out of his underwear. That's how he described it. and so he, in a very raspy voice, but in his ancient language, he's saying to me, "Sequoyah, thank you for coming all the way down from Canada. I knew you would come. Thank you. We've got some things we have to do." This was going on. So anyway, he then the people start laughing. He said something, so he must have told a joke of some kind. And then he says, "I want you to know that Sequoyah is indigenous. And I also want you to know that the time will come when Sequoyah will come here, and Sequoyah and I will raise our grandfather up from the earth." And so that's another thing. I have no idea I just know that around the end of this year, I'm going to be back down that way again. Whether it's for that particular thing or something else, I have no idea. So anyway, he did a couple of ceremonies on me there. And one of them was a clearing ceremony that you probably heard me talk about that we do with cotton, where I've learned to do a ceremony through him by using cotton balls that can bring all the hidden stuff up out of the body. You know, like a lot of things, people like to get rid of things that they don't particularly want to do it in a way that anybody else is going to see or know, what it was that they want to give up. So, and it's got to be pure cotton. It can't be any fabricated cotton or, false cotton. It's got to be pure cotton to do this. And so anyway, he did the ceremony on me with the cotton, which took about an hour for me to look inside myself, and I had to say everything to these people about myself. He just made it that way, and so after we did the cotton, and then I come back and I say, okay, I'm finished. Mama Moneva goes, no, you're not. What about this? So those people have the capacity and the capability to look inside of everyone and see every single thing, every shred of any kind of material that our bodies are made of. They can penetrate that, and we can all learn to do that. And I've done this ceremony with the cotton for people here, who don't really want to talk openly about things they've done in their life. They're too ashamed. And with the cotton and this particular process, you can help anybody remove any vestiges of anything that's out of balance. So anyway, we went through that, and then he did another ceremony where he says, we're going to do a ceremony now. And he says, I, talking about himself, I, Mama Moneva, I have carried the eternal seed of peace in my heart for eons. He says, I have to go to other dimensions to do other things now. And he says, I'm taking that eternal seed of peace and I'm placing it in Sequoiah's heart. And then he goes, and Sequoyah, we want you to be praying constantly for everybody in North America. Make sure that's done. Make sure that's done. And then he says about taking that eternal seed of peace and placing it in my heart, and then how do you put this here? Oh boy, those words aren't even coming to me that he said right now. But anyway, it had to do with me being the carrier now of that eternal seed of peace, which he did place into my heart. And I won't pull my shirt up right now, but there's a place right here on my heart where there's scar tissue, and blood comes forth from that scar tissue where he inserted that seed of peace into my heart. So after we did all that, we left. I came back up here to Canada, and a message was sent from Mama Moneva saying, Sequoyah came to see me, and now I can leave this planet in peace. So I'm just a little boy from Oklahoma, and I'm still that way, about lots of things. And for me to have all this information placed within me at one time was close to being a heart attack, something like that. And
Mhm.
so anyway, I pray every day for everybody, and I pretty much did that anyway. But so now I'm more consistent with it, and every morning the first thing Suzanne and I do when we get up, we give thanks for everything in existence, everything. We give thanks to those ones, our ancestors who have passed on, and they're now in that spirit world, and we can access them, and they can still help us where they are. But you've got to do it in that way, that you're congenial about it, and you see that it's something that's entirely necessary. So anyway, that's a little bit, very, very little bit about a 28-year period of me being in and out of the mountains, Sierra Nevada de Santa Marta, and especially the heart of the world. Because right now, I don't even know if I mentioned this yet, but right now, I can guarantee you that sitting on the four chambers of the heart are four elders, one from each nation. Once again, the Kogi, the Arhuaco, Conquamos, Sardio. They're sitting right there praying for all of us human beings here right now, 24 hours a day, non-stop. And I'm sure most of you sitting out there listening to what I'm saying now had no idea that anything like this was going on. I didn't anyway.
Mhm.
So,
And we have no idea that Sequoyah is there every single day praying for all of us in the same way. Every single day those prayers are going up.
I'd like to put Suzanne in there too, because she does that every day now too. Every day, her prayers are going out into the eternal dimensions everywhere.
Right, and let's invite everybody to join in those prayers, just with great thanks, great peace, and great love.
That's right. And you know what I'm going to do right now? I want to light this pipe for just a minute.
That'd be lovely. Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and one other thing Sequoyah always reminds us is Onagiwahi,
Mm-hmm.
we're always together in our hearts.
That's it. Always. Mm-hmm.
Always one.
Mm-hmm.
So, Brad, would you like to come in with any closing thoughts?
Well, I think I won't ask any questions. I just want Sequoyah to know that I first came upon you at like a 20-minute TED Talk. And I remember you starting the talk with 20 minutes. I don't, how am I going to make that work? And you did make it work. But I'm glad we were able to give you more than 20 minutes because your story is worth hearing. I appreciate, as somebody who prays quite often, I appreciate somebody else doing that with us, and especially with your intent, because I know our prayers make a difference.
And one of the things that we do here with Mystic View is that we always offer a little spot for good news. So our good news that I'd like to offer for today is to invite everybody that is inclined or would like to contact Sequoyah to experience the ceremony where you can remove any dark or troubling thoughts or past experiences that you think are still affecting you today. And he can help you with that.
Oh.
And that is good news.
Yes.
Well,
now, I'm available 24 hours a day, nonstop. That's how it works when you do this kind of caring.
Yes, provided we can find you, because he's often called upon by, as I was saying earlier, people all around the world.
I'd just like to say too, I'd like to mention the Institute of Shamanic Studies that first invited me over into that part of the world. And so it's just grown immensely since then. We've had all kinds of wonderful healings going on. And I can't take credit for any of it because I don't know nothing. That's another thing that we say when we pick up this pipe, we admit that we don't know anything, but the universe has got all the information and it can be given to us.
And that's our gift as pipe carriers, is to receive the blessing of being humble.
Mm-hmm.
That's such a blessing.
Mm-hmm.
So Rad, would you like to close?
Yes, but I would like to ask Sequoyah, you have worked with the UN, have you not?
Right. Let's see, I was working with the UN over in, where was I? In, of all places, Korea.
Mm-hmm.
I worked with the UN. And I was also with the UN when we were sharing oral histories. And after that occurrence happened, Hannah Strong and Marie Strong is the Undersecretary of the Environment for the United Nations that I got to share with. And then his wife, Hannah Strong, scooped me up right after this thing was over and took me to Crestone, Colorado. And for somebody who might not know and would be interested, the highest occurrences of UFO sightings and weird occurrences and happenings happen in Crestone, Colorado, down in south of, right in the middle of Crestone, Colorado. Yeah.
Well, I'd sure like to invite you back on one time again to perhaps discuss our star families.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I would just like to ask, were you in Korea?
Yes, I was in Korea. I was over there for 4 years.
So did
working with the United Nations.
Did you get a chance to get exposed to any of their native mysticism?
Oh yeah, a lot. Yeah, and a lot of it was mostly the women doing it.
Mm.
And yeah, they've got some really neat practices. One of them's a dance where they're dancing up in the air off the ground. Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, maybe we could speak about a little bit about that in our next meeting with you.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
All right, so I guess I'm going to close this out, and thank you very much, Sequoyah Trueblood, for being with us. Shelley, thank you for bringing him to Mystic View. And thank you, all of you out there, for staying with us, watching us. God bless.
God bless you. Only get wahi. We're always together.